This is a poem that I wrote about a year and a half after Jamie left his body. It was inspired by some time in the silence at a retreat I was attending. It's called Until. Until we are both together again, both on the same plane, my constant prayer will be that you experience this earth in my body and that I will experience heaven in your spirit. In this way, we are always together as one.
Motivational Mondays is the perfect way to set the tone for your week. Everyone can use motivation. Mondays are amazing, rich with opportunities, full of potential, and now motivational. Your week begins here. Good Monday morning. I am, of course, Genevieve Jones-Wright, founder and lead empower mentor of Motivation.In.Action, or MIA. And I am very privileged this morning to be joined by a good friend of mine, Elene Bratton, who is a licensed marriage and family therapist, here to share her story as part of our continued conversations of mothers in action. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Genevieve.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for asking me. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Well, when I thought about mothers in action, I immediately thought of you. And I want to start with a question that you can take any way you want because there's so many parts of your story, which is why you're here. But I want to ask you, who are you?
Well, I would say first off that I am definitely my mother and father's daughter, an activist and a free thinker. But I'm also a mother. I've had 5 children, and 2 of them are now living. I've had 5 grandkids, and 4 of them are now living. And that's, I think, where my heart is. I am a therapist. I've been a therapist for over 30 years, working in so many different settings, including the jail setting where we met originally. And my passion has always been to help underserved people in the community to what I call heal the wounds and holes left over from an earlier life.
Healing the wounds, the hurts, the pains from former,
The
previous,
traumas,
other
yes,
lives.
yes.
You've had a bit of that in your own life. Would you care to talk a little bit about some of the healing you've gone through, not necessarily about Jamie or your other child, but just about your recovery and your path to healing?
Yes, I would say that grief and loss has been part of my experience for most of my life. I didn't really understand it at the time. I was young when I had my first loss, and my father was killed when I was quite young, and I had cousins pass away, and so it's always been a part of it, but I didn't understand how to deal with it, and the way I dealt with it was through drinking alcohol. And I had about a 12-year career, we call it, in alcoholism before I found my way to sobriety, and I've been sober now for 34 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is so powerful. It's so wonderful. I know that a lot of people are struggling with addiction, so I really hope that they can see you as a shining example that there is a way to work through recovery. I mean, you are an amazing mother. You are a professional that helps so many people, and you're just a light to this world. So I wanted to make sure that I took the time to say that, but you are definitely inspirational.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, and recovery is possible. It doesn't matter how long or hard the road has been. You can always find a way back to recovery if you put your heart and your soul into it. And I really want to give that message because when my son passed away, I had 14 years of sobriety, and I did ask myself that question. I said, this would be the perfect opportunity to drink. Everyone would understand. People would be compassionate. They wouldn't be mad at me. But I asked myself 2 questions, and one, it was that would it honor my son? My son had never seen me drink. And I said, the answer to that question was no. And then I said, would it help? And the answer was no. I knew it would not really actually help me heal. And that's what I was looking for. How do I heal and honor my son's life within my own? And I knew that going back to alcohol was not a solution. And I was able to stay sober through that experience and honor him in so many different ways that I feel really bring his spirit to light and keep him alive in this world, which is really important to someone that's lost a child.
Yeah, we oftentimes hear that the deepest pain is the loss of a child for a mother. And so I honestly can't even imagine the type of crushing pain that you felt. But every single day, you are working to honor Jamie's life, this beautiful child here with us. So if you can just talk a little bit about Jamie and what Jamie's Joy is all about.
Jamie was just a very vivacious child, travieso, that's what we used to call him in Spanish. He was the kind of kid that was profoundly spiritual, but yet deeply a boy. Like, he would jump off of everything, and but he would also say stuff like, most people think the world is round, but it's really in the shape of a heart because it's God's heart. And he had just had, we were writing this book called The Musings of a 5-Year-Old Buddha, because we would pray together, and he would have all these sayings that he would just come up with. He had abstract thinking from the age of 3. And when you would say, Jamie, who made you so cute? Or why are you so cute? He'd say, because God made me that way. And so he just had this spirit about him. And it was an unexpected loss. He was going to visit his aunt, and they were driving back to her house when she was in a terrible car crash on April 24th, 2002, which was exactly 1 month before his 6th birthday. And he did not survive, and she had a traumatic brain injury. And so, that was just the pit into hell. But from the ashes of that, in a very organic and spontaneous way, we decided somehow to not give our money all at one time, because people give you money when you lose a child, especially, or anybody close to you, right? It's like, what do you do with that money? It doesn't even feel good, right? And so I know they're wanting to be kind, and funeral expenses and things like that. But we put that money aside, and we were going to give it to the zoo, because my husband, Jamie's dad, worked at the zoo at that time. But then the more that we sat with it, the more we thought, we need to do more than this. And his birthday again was the next month, May 24th. And we just decided to hold kind of memorial that day. And we had like music, and we had information about grieving, and we had the hospice come out and talk to people. And we did all these things, and it just kind of organically started this thing we called Jamie's Joy. And his legacy, because he was young, he didn't have something that he was into. His legacy was who he was, which was the essence of love, joy, peace, and connection. And that legacy has stuck with us, and we manifest that in all different kind of ways. And the main part of our mission statement is, would Jamie like it, and what would Jamie do? So we developed a lot of grief resources. We read a lot of books. We put a lot of tools together, information that's all on our website, which is www.jamiesjoy.org. And we have information for people to help them grieve. And the last thing that we focused on was traffic safety, because of Jamie, the way that Jamie passed away. And we've done a lot of just outreach and information, and trying to help people understand how distracted driving impacts your life. So those are the legacies that Jamie's left, besides just a legacy of love in our family. And when Jamie turned 21, we had our last big public event, because I decided that Jamie would want to throw a backpack on and go traveling. And so what we've been doing more recently is service travel. So we went to Mexico, we built houses, we're planning a trip to India, things like that, to continue his legacy, but in a broader sense. We have a small park in our neighborhood, in Azalea Park, where we had a street name changed after Jamie. It's called Jamie's Way. So on May 28th, we have a cleanup for this year in just a couple days, and we're really excited to be able to do this every year.
So tomorrow is Jamie's birthday.
Yes.
Is it his 26th birthday?
26th birthday, yes.
And so what would you like for us to do? Should we take a moment of silence, send up a prayer, make a donation? What should we do in honor of Jamie's birthday?
I think all those 3 ideas are great ideas. Every year, something intuitively comes to me about what will help me on that day. And last year, people made happy birthday videos. That was really great. Donations are always welcome, of course. But that energy that you send up, even though you may feel that it doesn't reach me, it does. We feel that support and that love from the community, from our friends and family. And if you want to go to, the website or the email, and even just send a little note, Facebook page, that's all really great. It just means that Jamie's still here, that his presence is still being known. And I think that's the worst part of this loss, is that you feel like your person, your loved one, your son, your daughter is being forgotten.
So you're working on a big project. Not that everything else you're doing is not big and hasn't been impactful, but I'm so excited for you that you are doing what?
I am at the tail end of finishing a book that I've been working on for 10 years. It's going to be called Because God Made Me This Way. And it's about Jamie's life, about who he was, about what happened, and also about the grieving process. And I think that one thing that we can all do is share our experience, strength, and hope with other people. And that's one way that not only do we heal, but we help other people to heal. I know that reading grief books was a big part of my recovery process, and I hope that in Jamie's book, we bring more about how you can help create your legacy of your own loved one if loss is part of your story. And so it's going to be pre-ordered in a couple months, and you can go to the website or email us or Facebook page to get more information about the book, Because God Made Me That Way.
I love that title. What is it that you would like to leave our listeners, our viewers with today as they've tuned in to hear your inspiring story and want to jumpstart their week on a positive or inspiring note?
Awesome. Well, I have a list because I can't remember everything. So I did write some stuff down that I feel really helped me. And I want to say the first way to honor your loved one is to survive the loss. Don't let the loss take your life away, literally or just even spiritually or emotionally. To survive is to breathe and to listen to your body that knows the way. And the second one is that you need other people. There are plenty of cliches out there and plenty of advice out there, but you need to listen to your own gut and make sure that they fit for you. You can't take someone else's path to healing. You have to take your own path to healing. And I believe that our bodies instinctually know from tens of thousands of years of loss how to manage the loss if you allow it to, and if you don't cloud it with any kind of addictive process like substances, gambling, relationships, any kind of process like that. And don't stuff your feelings. Make sure that you allow yourself to feel the feelings. And get your support, even you can't do it alone, and you shouldn't have to, even if you could. It's a very lonely process. Being with other people who have similar losses will help you process your grief more fully and heal more expediently. Don't let another minute go by without expressing love, peace, joy, and seeking connection. Life is just too short to let that moment slip by.
You've heard it straight from the doctor. If you are grieving in some sort of way, make sure you seek out support and process your feelings. Don't hide from them and process them in a healthy manner. So, this conversation this morning has been pretty heavy, but I also see the joy. And so
Yes.
I'm really hoping that, and matter of fact, I know that this conversation is going to help a lot of people. I want us to start talking about grief and mourning more. I want us to talk about losing loved ones more and in a healthy way, because exactly what you talked about with the kind of society that we have, we really just don't have the wherewithal to connect with people at a certain level when we talk about grief and loss. And so just what you're doing every single day is just so amazing to me, because it is so important and powerful and healing, and it's just an amazing resource in the community. So thank you so much. All right, everybody, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Motivational Mondays. I'm going to see you next week, same time, same place, right here, with more inspiration to help you jumpstart your week. Now, if you found this week's conversation inspirational or motivational in any way, maybe you got a gem to carry with you throughout the day or the week, please feel free to like, comment, and share. Because remember, everyone can use some motivation. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'll see you next week.